Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes again. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Leo. That's Leo Sun, Leo Moon, Leo Rising for the month of February 2025. So before we get started, I want to welcome my new subscribers. I also want to welcome my tried and true who have been with me for years. Welcome to my patrons from Patreon and my members from my channel. I really appreciate your support. It means the world to me. Before we get into the astrology of the month for Leo and the reading, I will timestamp this. So if you're not interested in the astrology, you can go right to the reading. You'll have that option. But before we get into that, I want to just point out the energies of the month of February, starting with the universal year vibration. In January, we moved into a new universal year. That is taking the year and adding it together, and we get a 9. And the 9 is the Hermit card. The 9 is the card of introspection, healing, sharing your wisdom, seeking. This is the seeker here, shining his light for those to see. This is about shining your light so those who need to find you can find you. This is also the light of introspection. 9 is a vibration of separating the wheat from the chaff. It's also a vibration of tying up loose ends, something coming to an end, and then having the vision and the seeds for the future. We also have, we're in a February is the second month. We look at the 2 vibration on the tree of life, and we have the high priestess. The high priestess, of course, is secrets revealed, but it's also secrets in general. So you may be downloaded with some information on the tree of life. This is the path that connects directly down the center of the tree from the crown to the heart. So this is really the crossing the abyss, the desert abyss as it's known. The Hebrew letter associated with this card is camel. No, Gimel, which means camel. Sorry, I don't know Hebrew. It's not my thing. Anyway, which is about walking through the desert and walking through the eye of the needle. So there's this eye of the needle energy with this, but this is also revelations. And it's a highly sensitive vibration. It is a 2. 2 is a very sensitive vibration. And so your sensitivities will be increased this month. So it really is important that you keep your emotional waters as clear as you can, and take in the information that's coming in so that you can know what to do when the time comes to act. This is not a month to act. When we add these 2 vibrations together, we get a 11. 11 is, of course, a master number, but it's also the number of justice. So justice will be served, or certainly justice will be seen, or the need for justice will be seen. This is another highly sensitive vibration. And not necessarily taking an action, but observing. But this is a vibration of observance. So these are the just general vibrations for the month of February, most of which are pretty introspective in their nature. So, all right, let's get into the astrology. So let me share something with you here. Um, Let me see if I can go right to no. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, so now we're looking at Leo. And just a quick explanation of this chart. If a planet is in water, I will put it in blue. If a planet is in air, I put it in yellow, green for earth, and red or pink for fire. So we can see right up front, as a fire sign, that there's an awful lot of water in this chart. And all that water is sitting in your 8th house, which is the natural house for Scorpio. So there's a lot of really sort of digging deep into the emotional part of yourself, especially those values that you share with others. The eighth house is where we come up against forces greater than ourselves. It requires a lot of faith to have in the eighth house, and also a dissolution of the ego, which of course, as a Leo, is not good news. But it's not forever. It's for this month, right? So we start the month with the sun, which is your ruling planet. It's always important to see where the sun is when you're a Leo or a Leo rising or have a Leo moon. And it starts with the sun in the seventh house. The seventh house is your house of relationship. We also have Mercury there, at least for part of the month. It does move into Pisces. Both the sun and Mercury both move from Aquarius into Pisces from the seventh house, which is a relationship house, to the eighth house, which is a relationship house. So to say relationships are high priority this month would be an understatement. Um, we do have, of course, Pluto now in your seventh house for the next 19 years, transforming the way you relate to others. And of course, Pluto in Aquarius is power to the people, right? Power to the people. So I think you're going to meet a lot of people, and a lot of people that transform your life in some pretty profound ways. Again, that's a 19-year cycle. Um, we have, let's look here. Venus ingresses into Aries, right? Venus moves from Pisces to Aries. That happens on the 4th, I believe. So early in the month, Venus is going to be having a retrograde cycle this year, and she becomes the Aries star point, morning star this year. That has much more of a sort of a warrior nature to her. And of course, you're a fire sign. Venus is in fire. It's the only fire in the sky, except for when like the moon moves through here. So it is important that you connect with that Venus energy. Venus is your values, and it's in the house of truth. So this is about standing up for your values in the house of what is true and what is not true. We do have a Leo full moon, of course. That helps with the fire energy. That's happening on the, hold on, I'll tell you in a minute. That's happening on the 12th. Full moon in your first house. Your emotions will be high with the sun in the seventh house, bringing ballast to that. That particular opposition, that particular full moon has Uranus square it. Uranus has been very active in the moons. So here we have Uranus squaring this full moon. Uranus in the 10th house. Uranus has been in the 10th house now for a while for you. Will dip into your 11th house later in the year as it dips into Gemini, and then it will jump back into Taurus to finish up, and then out of Taurus by the beginning of next year. So we really only have maybe another 5 or 6 months, maybe less than 6 months, of Uranus in Taurus. That should stabilize your career a little bit more, and that Uranian energy moving into the house that's naturally ruled by Aquarius also indicates you meeting some new people. So the people, the friends and partners that you meet over the next few years are going to transform your life in ways that you can't see yet. So be aware of that. Mars is stationed direct. It's been retrograde since it went retrograde in your sign, Leo, on the 6th of December. Moved back into Cancer on the 6th of January, has been in Cancer, moving through that 12th house. I don't know if you're getting any sleep. Um, I personally sleep really well, no matter what's in my 12th house, but it will activate your dreams. So it's really important for you to pay attention to your dreams, spending about 6 months in an area of your chart where it would normally spend 6 weeks, and going over stuff. So you do have to watch with Mars in your 12th house, especially retrograde, that you don't undo yourself. You don't undo yourself. Be your best advocate at this time. It's really important. But, being your best advocate doesn't necessarily mean being braggadocious or I'm the best thing since sliced bread, because that can be your downfall as well, right? So pride comes before the fall. Be aware of that. Um, We have Jupiter stationing direct. Jupiter has been moving retrograde now for a couple of months. It's in your 11th house of friends. It's going to go direct on the, let's see, when does Jupiter go direct? Jupiter goes direct on the 4th. Oh, the same day that Venus moves into Aries, Jupiter goes direct in Gemini. This is a house of goals, also a house of friends. So if there's been misunderstandings or misinterpretations, you'll have an opportunity, I think, to fix those this month. Um, let's see, what else do we have? Sun, of course, ingresses into Pisces, moving into that eighth house. Uh, Mercury actually ingresses first. Mercury ingress into Pisces, Sun ingress into Pisces. And then we have that Mars station direct at 17 degrees of Cancer in your 12th house. That's happening on the 23rd. And then lastly, we have the new moon in Pisces. This is a time to plant seeds. Um, the eighth house is a relationship house, also the house of taxes. With all this energy in the house of taxes, this might be a good month to make sure you get your taxes done. You'll have plenty of time looking at it, right? New moon is also a time of planting seeds, maybe in a new relationship to your values, just a general new relationship, as the eighth house is as a relationship house. Um, it is about shared resources. So this may be a time when you figure out how those shared resources are working out for you. Maybe you need to tweak some things. Um, it's also insurance. So I know a lot of people are going to need insurance or are going to have insurance claims because of climate change disasters and the like. Let's just hope that it works out for you, because the insurance industry is probably going to be the first thing that collapses with these. Not to scare you, I'm just, giving you something that is almost obvious with this increased um, with the increase of climate problems, as we can say, climate disasters. Insurance is going to be at issue, um, and that is the future. That's not just this month. That's going to be the future. So maybe you get a little head start on that, figure out what you're going to do or how you're going to work through that. The nodes of the moon, I want to point out, are now in the north node in Pisces and the south node in Virgo. It's going to be going through your second, eighth house axis. That's the axis of life and death. Venus, Scorpio, no, Pisces and Virgo are the healing axis. So you're going to have the nodes in the healing axis in your axis of life and death, the second, eighth house. So this is a time where it really does help you to, if you have any physical issues or anything like that, to make sure that you're taking care of all of that stuff. Not that you're going to die, but this is an opportunity to get some really um, helpful healing in. Um, all right. I think that's it. Okay, let's stop the share here. And I'm going to use the Fountain Tarot to do your tarot reading this month, Leo. Oops. Just make sure I don't have extra cards here. Oh no, I must have taken the extra cards out. Excellent. Let's just see what we have here. We have some things. Okay. So what does Leo need to be aware of this month of February 2025? What does the Fountain Tarot have to say? Ah. Can you tell I have Leo in my chart? Always a song. If there's a song to be sung, I will sing the song. All righty. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, Eight of Swords. So you're in a place where you don't feel like you can speak your mind. You feel like your voice is limited. and that it's dangerous to say something. That's where you're at right now. Let's see what crosses that. The Four of Cups, this is about a sense of futility to a certain extent, emotionally um, isolated. There's an emotional isolation in this. You're not feeling that good as February begins. You feel like you can't say what you want to say. You feel like there's a certain amount of futility. Who's going to listen anyway? All right, let's see what's at the root of this issue. Death and transformation. Something has died. You're being asked to let go of something at this time. So there's a transformational process at the root of this issue. Let's see what's in the past. The Ace of Coins. This is a new project. So in the recent past, perhaps you started a new project. Maybe the project isn't taking off the way you wish it would. Let's see. In the sky. Oh, sun. Illumination. So things are being illuminated, and yet you still feel like you can't say anything. In the immediate future, the King of Cups. This month for you is about understanding your feelings and having dominion over them. I feel like you're going through a process that's bringing up a lot of emotions. And of course, with all that Pisces energy in your eighth house, yikes, that's a lot of stuff. The eighth house can be the repository of some pretty difficult emotional stuff. It is the Scorpio house. So, there can be betrayals, there can be all of that. Not to say that you will be betrayed, but I feel like the past is coming up and requiring, like you're dealing with some issues from the past that perhaps you thought were left in the past, but here they are in front of you. And your challenge is to get a hold of your feelings and your emotions and make decisions about how you want to proceed moving forward. But you can't quite get there until you come to terms with what you're feeling. How it's seen from the outside. You're seen as cautious and not somebody who's necessarily a spendthrift or somebody who just does things willy-nilly. You think about everything, you consider, you know the value of things, you know how hard it is to come up with what you need to come up with. Let's see your domestic situation. However, your domestic situation is there's a lot of money here. Now, this could actually be money that you get from a relative who's passed. This can be dynastic money if you happen to be in one of the dynasties, but this can be family money. Family money. So I feel like there's support from the family financially or family money coming your way. That's also kind of an eighth house energy as well. We have the Judgment card as a hope and fear. You might be worried about how people are seeing you or how you're being judged, or perhaps you're judging yourself, but you're fearing somebody's judgment. The Fountain card. This is a deck where the Fountain card is the only card in the deck that's not in every deck. It's in the Fountain deck. And this is about something being born out of nothing. So something is ready to be born. The potential, you're in the midst of a death process right now, and so you can't see the other side of it yet. But by the end of the year, end of the month, I feel like the door will crack open. You'll see the light. So I feel like this is a bit of a dark time for you, Leo. Let's see if we can get a major arcana. Oh yeah, okay. And so with that opening of the light, we have the Ace of Wands, which is a Leo card next to the Magician. So this month for you is getting your feelings together, feeling your feelings, going through the process. I'm going to say it's not going to be easy emotionally for you. You're going to feel like you can't say something, but you need to kind of figure out what this all means to you. Gather yourself, evaluate your feelings, and as you do that, the door will open. The door will open. Underneath it all, we have the Nine of Pentacles. That's the self-made person, strength, and the Three of Wands, which is new opportunities. So I think you're feeling alone. You're feeling very alone in whatever it is that you're pursuing. You feel like you're not getting help. Um, but help is on its way. Help is on its way. Illumination is on its way. New opportunities are on its way. It's just that February is going to be one of those months where you just have to feel the feelings that you're feeling and observe the feelings that you're feeling. And by the end of the month, things will lighten up. But it is, and I feel like the illumination in the sky is perhaps things are being illuminated that you already knew that you felt like you couldn't say or that people held you back from saying. So it's almost like you were right, but you're not happy that you were right. All right. That's the story. All right. Pick one more. We're going to pick a Starseed Oracle. Maybe this one will be a little bit more optimistic, although it's not a bad reading. It's just, as you start the month, it's not going to feel very good. By the end of the month, you're going to feel better. It's a short month, so you won't be feeling too bad for too long. Oops. Oops. All right. Let's have a, oops. Oh, Jesus. These cards are jumping around. They're very active. What do we have? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So sorry. Please accept my apologies. Remember that song? It was before my time, really, but I do remember hearing it. I'm sorry. It says defensiveness, righting past wrongs, uprooting. Uprooting. Okay, I don't think I've ever gotten this card. I got it now because I have a Leo rising, so I guess I'm going to have to say I'm sorry to somebody. Oh, let's see what it says. Maybe I don't. Whew. Just kidding. I will say I'm sorry if it's necessary. I used to say I'm sorry before I knew that I should be sorry. I don't do that anymore, but when I am sorry, I am sorry. Okay, here we go. Oops. I'll hold this up. All right. We're living in divisive times. When we hurt and are triggered, we tend to see things as a personal attack rather than an opportunity for healing. If we were to find true peace and unity, we need to drop our defenses and see things outside of right and wrong. As souls, we intrinsically remember unity and yearn for that on earth. Perhaps this is why it feels so painful when we experience the opposite. But it is crucial to remember that we can't simply bypass reality and pretend that unity, love, and forgiveness are here. This is one of the greatest challenges for starseeds. To bring about unity, we must first acknowledge the ways in which both we and the world have been divisive, personally, ancestrally, and collectively. The shadows, hate wounds, separation, severing wrongs, and sadness. You may be called to explore how you and your ancestors or your society have consciously or unconsciously inflicted pain on others, to find a way to drop the armor around your heart and see things as as truly are for all people. To say I'm sorry with an open heart and mean it, to be part of the healing rather than the perpetuation of inherent conflict or oppression. Yeah, so you may have I know who my people who are watching me are, and I kind of know where you stand on a lot of things because you're following me. We tend to uh, attract people like us, And it may be very easy to say, I told you so. Are you happy now? I know there have been a couple of times when I've been tempted to do that, but that's not really the thing, right? We have to be open. We need to be open to one another. And if we're ever going to heal this, we need to listen to each other, even if we don't necessarily agree. So there may be somebody that you have to say you're sorry to. I know there's somebody that I need to say I'm sorry to. I'm not even sure they knew that it was said, but I know I have to say it. So be humble. Be humble, Leo. That's what I want to say. All right. Have yourself a good month. Everything's going to be fine. At the end, just it's going to be a little hard in the beginning. It's going to be hard. And sometimes it's hard to say you're sorry because you know you're right anyway. Um, or that you can see something coming that you'd rather not see coming. But by the end of the month, you'll find your voice again. And perhaps nothing said is better than something said until you can um, say it with the right, being in the right heart space. All right, that's the story, Morning Glories. I will see you again next month for the Taroscopes for March. Until then, you can see me every morning as I walk through the garden, or depending on the weather, maybe not, and talk about the stars. I'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Self-care, self-care, self-care. Remember, namaste.